Good evening, church. Sunday morning, our AC went out in the sanctuary, so we packed up, walked next door, and had church in the fellowship hall. It was kind of chaos and hectic, rearranging chairs, finding enough room for everybody to sit, spreading the word to others that our service will be in the fellowship hall because of the situation, hooking up the laptop to the TV screen so that we could have media during the service. And in the middle of all of that, I forgot to hit the record button. So I'm condensing my morning message to preach again so it will go out to the world and pray that it will touch lives. I have been in Ephesians for about 3 weeks now. In fact, we just touched on Ephesians 4 this morning, and that's the message that I'm going to bring again. Ephesians 1 through 3 is the deepest doctrine in the whole Bible. We covered where we were chosen before the foundation of the world. We were predestined. We were sealed with the Spirit. We were made alive. When you were dead, we were seated with Christ in the heavenly places. 3 chapters of pure gift. Then Paul writes one word that flips the whole letter. He writes the word therefore. And everything after that word is going to cost you something. And here's what most people get backwards. They think the walk earns the gift, and it doesn't. The walk proves you actually believe the gift was real in the first place. So if chapters 1 through 3 never wrecked you, and chapter 4 is going to feel like a burden to you, but if it actually landed, chapters 1 through 3, the walk stops being a burden and starts being the only sane response you've got left. Now we're going to cover Ephesians 4 1 through 6. Ephesians 4 1 says, I, therefore, a prisoner of the Lord, urge you to walk in a manner worthy of the calling to which you have been called. I want you to stop on that phrase, a prisoner for the Lord. Paul's writing this chained to a Roman guard. No control over his schedule, no control over his freedom, or no control over his future. And he doesn't call himself a prisoner of Rome. He calls himself a prisoner for the Lord. The most restricted man in the room is the most freest man in the letter. His chains didn't come from losing control of his life. They came from handing control to somebody bigger than Caesar. So when Paul tells you to walk worthy, he's not asking you to do something he hasn't already done at a cost you haven't paid. And he's not asking you to earn the calling. You don't vote yourself into this family. The calling already happened. It's past tense. It's done. Your walk is just supposed to catch up to what's already real. Verse 2, he talks about humility, gentleness, patience, bearing with one another in love. Now, be honest with yourself for a second. Is humility natural to you? It is not. Is gentleness your default when somebody wrongs you? It is not. Is patience what shows up when the same person annoys you for the 14th time? No. So, where is it supposed to come from then? Not from trying harder. It comes from actually believing the therefore, as Paul stated in verse 1, is true. Humility is only possible for people who are already full and satisfied in God. If your soul is starving for approval, you can't afford to lose an argument. But if God is already feeding you everything you need, you can lose the argument and still walk away full. Now, moving on to verse 3. Verse 3, he says, eager to maintain the unity of the Spirit in the bond of peace. I want you to notice the verb. Paul doesn't say create the unity. He doesn't say build it or manufacture the unity. He says maintain it. You cannot maintain something that doesn't already exist. The unity is already there. The Spirit already did the work. Your job was never construction. Your job is guarding what's already been paid for. Unity is not your invention. It's your inheritance. And you don't get to treat an inheritance like it's optional to protect. Your pride is fragile. Your grudges are fragile. The unity itself going anywhere. The question is whether you're going to guard it or bulldoze it. Now, verse 4 through 6, I want you to count them. Paul says, one body, one spirit, one hope, one Lord, one faith, one baptism, one God and Father of all, who is over all, through all, and in all. Did you count 7? There are 7 ones in 3 verses. Paul's not being repetitive by accident. He's stacking bricks under your feet so when the pressure comes, and it will come, you know exactly what you're standing on. And that one hope for us, that's not floating off to some disembodied eternity the second you die. That's the resurrection. Christ returns, the trumpet sounds, and the dead in Christ rise. Whole people, body and soul, raised and given the everlasting life only God possesses and only God can give. That's what's holding this whole chapter together. Here's gospel grit for today that I'm throwing into this morning sermon. Stop trying to build something Christ already bled to give you. You didn't create the body, the spirit, the hope, the baptism, the one God overall. He handed those to you and said, now walk worthy of what's already yours. Not to earn it, because you actually believe it's real. That's gospel grit. No fluff, no filter, just a truth that costs you something. I'll see you next time. Stay blessed. Stay gritty. Blessings.